Hello, hello, hello. You're listening to the MarkeThinkers podcast, a show that gives you the hottest details and wildest wonders of digital marketing. And today we're asking you this question. Do you know how to grow your franchise business? All right, hello, 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 and welcome to episode 2 of season 3 of MarkeThinkers podcast. I'm your MarkeThinkers Jim, and today we're talking about growing your franchise business. And for today's episode, we are joined by a very special guest from RK Franchising Consultancy. Okay, so before I show her to our viewers, here is the introduction. Okay, so our very special guest is an experienced marketing professional with a demonstrated history of working in the management consulting industry. She is a speaker of All About Franchising seminar in Embassy of the United States, Manila, Globe SEC talk show, franchise shows, and other universities. She is also a speaker of franchise opportunities under food and non-food category in Australia and how to select the right franchise webinar organized by Filipino International Franchise Association or FIFA, and she has actively participated in local franchise shows in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, as well as in Hong Kong, Malaysia, and Dubai. She have handled more than 200 franchise development accounts for almost a decade of being a marketing manager of RK Franchise Consultancy. So without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to the marketing manager of RK Franchise Consultancy, Miss Shay Montes Lumbes. Kumusta, Miss Shay?
Hello, good afternoon. Okay naman. How about you, Jim?
Feeling good. I'm excited to have you here.
Thank
Dahil
you.
season 3 na ng Marketingers, we are, improving, giving better quality content for our viewers. So,
Mm-hmm.
nabanggit ko na kanina, this episode is all about growing your franchise business. So, alam ko na you know all about, growing a franchise business. But before we go to, the topic itself, I have this many
Mm-hmm.
questions or friends din kasi na who are always
Okay.
confused kung sino si franchisee at sino si franchisor. So, to
Oh,
settle
okay.
that debate, can you please give us the best definition na lang kung sino nga ba si franchisor at si franchisee?
Okay. So basically when it comes to franchising kasi na Jim, we have two operating personalities involved. So first thing is the franchisor. So the franchisor will be the one controlling, for example, the products and services that the franchisee are actually permitted to sell. So in terms of being a franchisee, you will be the one to technically buy a franchise or duplicate the business on their franchising system. So it's actually ano lang naman, very basic. Si franchisor is actually the main owner, and then the franchisee will be the one to undergo the franchising system na i-develop, for example, the RK Franchise Consultancy, or if ever you will be engaging into a franchise venture.
Ayun. Thank you for that definition. To put it simply, si franchisor yung may-ari ng brand. And
Yes,
then
that's
si
right.
franchisee yung gusto mag-open ng another shop with that brand. Tama ba?
Under that brand, yes, definitely.
All right. Thank you so much for that clarification. Now, let's get into it. How to grow your franchise business. But first, Ms. Shay,
Mm.
tell us something about yourself and RK Franchise Consultancy. Sino ba siya?
Okay. So yeah, before anything else, hi again, Jim. Good afternoon. So it's also my pleasure, of course, to be invited here. This is actually my first podcast. So we usually do webinars naman via Zoom. But yeah, I'm so thrilled to do this podcast with you. And again, I would like to thank the owners of Emerge Local, Sir Richard, Ma'am Carissa, and of course you for inviting me to be your guest today. All right, so siguro let me just start first with telling about our company. RK Franchise Consultancy is a 24 years old company that provides a professional franchise development for entrepreneurs who would like to expand or grow their brands through a well-developed franchise system. Our team also provide continuous support to our franchisors. Basically, by establishing a franchise system tailored to each and every company. So if, let's say, for example, business owners would like to take another step in growing their business, franchising is actually the best way for them. And of course, we are always ready naman to accommodate them. And yes, by the way, yeah, I'm Shay. I have been working with the company RK Franchise Consultancy as a marketing manager for almost a decade. And I am actually focused on the franchise development side. So my department is actually the one responsible in finding development leads. And all throughout the development process, kami din yung nag-oversee, provided of course with the ongoing consultations in between as well as after service support.
Thank you so much for that introduction. So, focusing on the topic that we have at hand, can you explain to us why growth is essential for a franchise business?
Okay, Jim, kasi growth is essential naman to any type of business, whether a business owner is operating on a regular setup or even on their franchise setup. Ang pinagkaiba nga lang kasi is that franchising transfers almost the entire cost of expansion to franchisees. Okay, to make sure that every franchisee is, of course, ready to finance the entire franchise. And in addition to that, franchising can also maximize the growth of the business in terms of number of outlets, whether this is under a unit or area franchise level, and then expanding to those strategic locations, I mean, kasi might be difficult to the usual business owners compared to, let's say, a franchisor, since of course there are a lot of things to consider. And syempre, when a franchise get to expand anywhere, for example, whether inside or outside Philippines, it creates a strong brand recognition, which is why we are doing franchising in the first place. So basically, yeah, para makilala talaga yung brand natin.
Right. So one of the best steps, I think, is just 3 words, pag franchising. Location, location, location. We all know
Definitely.
that. So do you have any tips, or could you discuss the benefits and challenges of expanding a franchise business to a multiple location system, and how to do it successfully? Paano nga ba?
Okay, although we've been doing the development for 24 years, so, and I myself have been in the industry for about 10 years, of course, I would agree with what you've mentioned. Location is always crucial on any type of business, regardless kung franchise or let's say not so. This is something that every franchisor must always examine. Okay, so evaluation of a certain location probably is highly important, and whether a brand is expanding under a unit franchise or area franchise level, it is always important to plan ahead. Okay, before launching the franchise, and expanding to a certain location should always be part of the plan. Of course, there are several factors that every franchisor and franchisee needs to consider. Like, for example, if you're the first franchise outlet on a specific location, developing a marketing plan rather is really important as well. So this is also why establishing a good relationship between franchisor and franchisee is one of the most important ingredients to become successful in your franchise venture. Diba? It's like having a partner in real life lang naman, Jim, na you have to be really committed, of course, on the type of business na gusto mong i-franchise or franchise mo. And at the same time, you never stop putting your 100% effort, since our common goal here is to achieve success, whether in terms of franchise expansion, handling partners, for example, getting more sales, and be able to operate in a way that both of you and your franchisee will benefit. Okay, so on the technical part naman, Jim, let's say, for example, a franchisee is eyeing to get an area franchise. The target areas must be presented from the very start, since, of course, the franchisor needs to study the location prior to approval, and every franchisor, of course, must follow a certain radius.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, so regarding locations kasi, it's also very prominent pagdating sa mga gustong magtayo ng mga franchise kasi unang-una ayaw nila na merong kapareho on the same
Yes.
area or on the same
Yes.
territory, no? Actually, I had this experience kasi, before the pandemic, mga year 2019, I was already
Mm-hmm.
in development of putting my own business as well. But at that
Oh.
point, ang naisip ko, bumili na lang ako ng franchise kaysa mag-isip pa ako, 'di ba,
Yes.
ng parang new
Which is
business. So,
good, ano naman siya, good choice naman.
yeah,
Especially if you're a type of business owner na parang ayaw mo ng trial and error, parang I would just like to jump into this kind of business na
correct.
super specific na yung steps, for example, and then I just have to meet with my own timeline, which is very common in franchising.
Okay, correct.
Okay.
And then one of the questions nun na tinanong sa akin, of course, nung
Mm-hmm.
nag-i-inquire ako about the franchise
Mm-hmm.
is the address or the location kung saan ko
Yes.
daw balak itayo. So at that time, yung sinabi kong location is Tarlac.
Or
So
not.
parang
Okay.
parang one day nila akong parang babalikan daw, something like that. And then
Okay.
after a day, sinabi nila sa akin na perfect. Kasi
Okay.
wala pa daw recorded na parang franchisee doon sa location na yun.
Okay.
So it was going well. Kaso nga lang, 2020, dumating yung pandemic.
Oh,
So
okay.
everything was put on hold from the funds and the planning. So hopefully,
Mhm.
I get that back on track, no, moving forward.
Mhm.
Pero yun nga, importante talaga yung location. But moving
Okay.
on to the next topic, I think a crucial din, no, in growing a franchise business is having a strong team.
Yes, yes, definitely.
So, can you explain why having a strong team is critical, no, for franchise success? And what are
Mhm.
the strategies, no, for recruiting, training, or kaya retaining a top talent? How about
Okay.
you?
Siguro, well, it's always important naman to know who's the right person for your team. Okay, I believe naman din, no, Jim, na to every type of business, may kanya-kanyang duties and responsibilities ang bawat empleyado, and different employers will for sure set some qualifications. Okay, in building a strong team under franchising, this is something that a franchisor will have to look forward to. Okay, so are you a type of franchisor who's going to digest, let's say, the entire Philippine map just to know what are the possible good locations for your expansion? Because if that will be the case, you can hire a good site locator. Okay, are you also a type of a franchisor who's after on the franchise engagement? Because that's where you can build a strong marketing team that will only focus on lead generation that will eventually turn into franchise engagements. Or pwede ding Jim na, or you might also want to make sure, for example, that all franchisees are operating in accordance or at least within your company standards. So it would be better to hire your own franchise relations manager. Okay, that will oversee the entire in and out of your franchise system, regardless of your plan for your business. It is always effective naman, no, to invest on the right people who will work with you on achieving your company's mission and vision. So I'm always telling our franchisors, kasi some of them will be, Shay, hanapan mo naman ako ng somebody who can sell a franchise for me. Although you can probably hire a sales representative, pero selling a franchise is actually different from selling, let's say, one condo unit, for example. So I always believe that there is a right person for every specific role na gusto nating gusto nating gawin, for example, sa isang kumpanya, especially that you are planning to expand through franchising.
Because having a strong team talaga can
Yes.
benefit and eventually, help you grow your franchise business.
Mhm.
Now, recently, Emerge joined the Philippine SME Business Expo.
Yes,
And
yes.
I was there as well. So we got to meet a lot of people with ideas, and of course, yung mga gusto mag-franchise ng business.
Oh.
But one of the most common things na na-encounter namin sa kanila is that they cannot define their brand yet. Parang,
Oh.
okay, they have this business idea, but when we ask them about what is specifically who or what the brand is, no? What is the goal or what is generally the message behind the business? Hindi nila masyadong masagot. So, di
Okay.
ba kasi, when we franchise a business, you bring that name as well. And the
Yes, yes.
message
We're actually
behind it.
doing the business under the same branding.
Yes. So, what tips do you have, no, for marketing and branding a franchise business? Or how can franchisees can effectively market the business and eventually build a strong brand identity?
Okay, though having a strong online presence is really effective, especially during the first 2 years of pandemic, talagang proven and tested yan. But being active and joining different franchise events will probably create, or I mean, will surely create a huge impact on your brand. So you see, Jim, people are still used to going out, having a face-to-face conversation, for example, and even seeing the actual product that they want to buy. So by being visible to possible prospectives will create a positive impression that you can always keep up with the current trends. Okay? At kahit sinong franchisee ang maghanap, for example, ng negosyong ipa-franchise, gusto nila yung hindi lang active, yung laging may bagong offer. So while a franchisor goal is to maximize his brand recognition, it is best to always incorporate new exciting offers or never stop doing some research and development that will contribute to the entire brand. So in terms of the marketing, under franchising kasi more on the technical part, we are actually coming up with 3 programs for our franchisor. The first one would be the grand opening promotion. So this is where every franchisee will have to promote the branch, only the branch lang na franchise nila, para lang din aware yung mga tao na we are about to open, let's say for example in Marikina City. And then the second one would be the local store marketing. Okay, so while meron tayong ginawang grand opening promotion, which is prior to opening the franchise facility, we also have what we call the local store marketing, which is every franchisee is required to promote their franchise on a monthly basis. Okay, so this local store marketing, there's a specific or there's a certain budget na required ma-meet ni franchisee just, for the continuous promotion ng branch. Let's say, for example, kung merong special promo for Valentine's Day, for example, for Mother's Day, or even for Father's Day, for example, they get to promote it. Usually, binuboost natin sa Facebook. Okay, so depende pa rin how would they want to plan their local store marketing. But this is something that hindi nila pwedeng or hindi sila allowed to give this budget to the franchisor. Okay, and then definitely, since the franchisor owns the brand, the entire brand, meron tayong tinatawag na national advertising. So every franchisee will have to contribute a specific percentage. Okay, this national advertising is of course to promote the entire brand, and then whether the franchisor is actually planning to, let's say, get an artista to promote the brand, will be undergoing a TV commercial, radio, for example, or even getting a billboard in EDSA, who knows? So, marami namang there are different ways for us to market the brand. So, it's really important lang to have a good relationship with your franchisor. Kasi at the end of the day, this is a long-term partnership. So, you really have to work with your franchisor in terms of marketing your franchise and also the entire brand.
All right, thank you so much. So 3 points yon, no? Grand store opening,
Yes.
local store marketing, and national advertising.
That's right.
All right, thank you. So, do you have any important tips that a franchisee must remember, no, in growing their business na hindi pa nabanggit kanina?
Okay. I'm actually thrilled. Sige. Ako naman, since I'm also doing talks about how to invest in the right franchise, I always extend my 3 important tips, okay, to every aspiring franchisee. First is to always examine the opportunities. Hindi naman porket, for example, in demand yung negosyo ngayon will still work after years. So might as well do an extensive research kung gaano ba ka-consistent ang negosyong gusto mong i-franchise. Okay, just for you to get the whole picture, what all about franchising is, and just for you to know what are the sides of becoming a franchisee, and also ano-ano ba yung mga do's and don'ts under franchising. Second, siguro, of course, you have to know your interests. Okay, so do not buy a franchise and then suddenly you have to force yourself to put 100% interest when in the first place, hindi naman yan yung konsepto ng negosyo gusto mong patakbuhin. Okay, remember that buying a franchise is practically being a real business owner. So if there is a huge responsibility attached to it, and that you must follow strictly all the rules and regulations written on your franchise agreement. Okay, though ano naman, Jim, experience may not be required, but of course, the core of being a successful franchisee is to always put your love on what you're doing. And then siguro lastly would be, of course, this is really important to any kind of business naman. Be financially ready. Okay? We at RK Franchise, whenever we are receiving franchise increase, for example, we always explain that the franchisee must always look at the total capital requirement and not just the franchise fee. Kasi this is actually one of the common mistakes of a franchise buyer, especially yung mga first-timer. They think na with having, let's say for example, meron tayong 250 na franchise fee and then there's a total capital requirement of 1 million. So they think with paying for the 250 alone will let them operate the entire store without investing for the total capital requirement. And by being financially ready naman, you know, you have to know all the fees involved before actually jumping into signing a franchise agreement. So again, katulad nga ng sinabi ng late CEO namin, of course, nobody will give you a franchise just because you're cute. Okay? Money is really important in any aspects of the business. So I'm just giving you siguro to make it more extensive, under franchising, you have to prepare for the franchise fee, which is only the value pa lang ng trademark with no any materials inclusions. Normally, ang inclusions lang ng franchise fee would be the use of trademark, site selection approval, operations manual and loan, and then there's a specific opening assistance, for example. So those are the the inclusions of the franchise fee alone. And then there is a total capital requirement wherein lahat nakalagay dito, even the construction, the equipment, for example, the furnitures, initial inventory, halimbawa. And then this can be included as well yung tinatawag nating revolving fund or OPEX, pwede din. So you really have to prepare. But you know, in giving a total requirement under franchising, hindi talaga natin sinasama yung possible rental fees and deposits. Okay, kasi it will vary on the location kung saan nila gustong mag-open. For example, this franchisee would like to operate inside the shopping mall. So there is a certain agreement for that one, especially in SM, that you are required to sign a tripartite agreement that's between the franchisor, the franchisee, and SM. So you really have to be responsible in paying all the fees, especially on the rental payments.
All right, thank you so much. So to recap our episode, so just, you know, simple steps, simple tips to help you grow your franchise business. First, location.
Yes.
Next, building a strong team. And then, of course, yung 3 important tips that Ms. Shay said. Always examine the opportunities, know your interests, and of course, not last but not the least, be financially ready. Thank you so much. So I think that's it for the topic. So let's move on to the fast talk. So I'll just give you choices and then you will give me your answer, no? In a snap, just like that.
Okay.
All right. First, books or movies?
Movies.
Favorite movie?
Favorite, ang dami.
At least one.
At least one, siguro, Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, that's a good one. Best location to start a business. Any
Best
recommendation?
location, there's no specific location naman. Siguro I would probably say for as long as there's a food traffic.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really important.
As long as there's a food traffic. Good.
Yes.
Your favorite drink?
Pwede bang alcoholic? Wine?
Yes.
Wine
Yes.
probably? Yes.
Yes, that's good. IG or Facebook?
Pwede both. Yeah, but
Both.
in terms of more on updates, I'm more into IG talaga.
IG. Okay.
Yes.
When should you start your own franchise business?
Well, you should start your own franchise business whenever you're ready. Remember that you have to be financially ready first, of course,
Correct.
given the fact that you have to pay for the total capital requirement. So if you think you have the money to invest, why not start now?
Correct. And last
Okay.
but not the least, do you believe that businesses should be digital first?
Digital first, siguro, based on our situation on the first 2 years ng pandemic, yes, it's really important. Like for example, our own company, RK Franchise Consultancy, prior to pandemic, we're actually doing face to face, but we were able to close deals via virtual discussion. So yeah, creating a strong online presence will definitely help your company to go a long way.
All right. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Ms. Shay Montes
Thank you,
Lumbes,
Jim.
the marketing manager of RK Franchise Consultancy. So you have just listened to the MarkeThinkers podcast powered by Emerge. And we are excited to announce that Emerge is now open for
Yes.
franchising. Yes. So
Yes.
if you want to have your own digital marketing agency in any part of the Philippines, just send us a message so we can get in touch. All
That
right,
is
so
right.
that's a wrap for today's episode. Again, this is your marketing herd, Jim. And remember, digital first is the new rule. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Miss Shay, and see you
Thank you
next
so
time.
much.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Have a good day.